The Kizer Drop Bear is one of those knives that didn't just get popular, it basically went viral. Over the last few years, Kizer has made a lot of running changes to the platform, different liners, different locks, different scale materials, sometimes without ever really calling attention to those changes. So today, instead of pretending like I can give you an authoritative, all-encompassing list of every revision that's ever existed, I want to do something that's a little bit more useful, and that's give you a real-world review of the Drop Bear as a platform using the versions that I actually own and talking through the most noticeable, meaningful differences between the different models. Now, so if you're trying to figure out whether the Drop Bear is right for you or which Drop Bear is right for you, this should help. As always, I'll have links down in the description where you can get one for yourself. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. And we're going to do that first by taking a look at my Drop Bears. So the first one here is S90V and Burlap Micarta, and this is a Knife Center exclusive that has since been discontinued. So this is only available on the secondary market now. Likewise, the 20CV and blue aluminum scaled version is also a Knife Center exclusive and has been discontinued. The Nitro V and wood scale version here is still available, and I call this my gentleman's Drop Bear because very much looks like a gentleman's knife. And last but not least, we have the most recent addition, and that is the Drop Bear 2, and this is in Nitro V and Canvas Micarta. So let's talk about the blade length and overall size on these. So the blade length is going to vary a little bit between the models, but it's going to be somewhere between 2.84 inches and 2.99 inches, and the Drop Bear 2s are going to come in on the lower end of that, with most of the older models being 2.99 inches with the drop point blades. And the overall length is likewise going to vary a little bit between 6.8 inches and 7.15 inches. And again, the Drop Bear 2 is going to come in on the smaller end of that. So let's talk about materials. As far as steel, like I mentioned, here I have S90V, 20CV, and Nitro V. There are also models available in AEBL, 14C28N, and 154CM as far as what most people would call budget steels. And as far as premium steels, they have LC200N, LMAX, S35VN, and S45VN, and I may have missed one in there, and if I did, make sure to let me know down in the comments. They also recently came out with a utility blade version that'll actually take disposable utility blades. So that adds even a little bit more variation into the line. Now, as far as scale materials, the first models that came out, they were all aluminum scales, but they have branched out a lot since then. They've branched out into fat carbon, titanium, micarta, Richlite, G10, acrylic, PEI, and wood. And again, I may have missed a scale material in there. And if I did, make sure you let me know down in the comments. And even within all of those materials, they've also had models that were dealer exclusives or holiday editions that had special designs or just, a special variation in there. So lots of options there. Now, I mentioned there are some changes as they have gone through different iterations. So let's look at a few of the more important ones. So the S90V and 20CV models are closest to the original release. And these have a drop point or spear point blade. This is what the Drop Bear was known for a long time before they introduced some other options. And most importantly, one of the biggest differences here is the liners. Now you can see these extend beyond the scales here, and you might actually be able to see it a little bit better on the blue here, but they come out beyond the scales. Now, those never bothered me. I actually enjoy the way it looks, but with the newer models, this is kind of in between the original Drop Bear and the Drop Bear 2. I call it the Drop Bear 1.5 just because it had some incremental changes, but you can see these liners are actually nested inside the scales here. Now, a lot of people prefer these. I'm kind of indifferent. I think both look great, and it really doesn't bother me one way or the other, but it does have the additional plus of saving a little bit of weight because the liners are smaller. Now, the Drop Bear 2 has some of the most obvious visible differences, and one of those is the button lock here. This is actually a button-operated liner lock or a button-operated compression lock, whatever you want to call it. And this also has additional blade options. So this is a clip point blade. There is also a sheepsfoot version, and then there is a blade that more closely resembles the drop point version that the Drop Bear has been known for a long time. So, materials and specs out of the way, let's look at the Ergos. Now, the overall handle shape, as you can see, is pretty consistent across the generations. There might be, minor variations in thickness, but they're all going to be pretty similar in how they are in your hand. Now, as you can see, I can get a full 4-finger grip. Now, with the Drop Bear 2 down here, I can actually choke up into that forward choil. Now, this is not my favorite forward choil. It's a little shallow for my taste. I can use it, but I don't trust it as much as some of the deeper choiled knives that I have. But you can choke up into that. And overall, the handle shape on these, it's rounded, but not doesn't have big palm swells or anything like that. So you're not going to get that melt into your hand comfort that you will with some knives. But the trade-off for that is it makes it more universally, generally comfortable. So it's not a bad thing at all. It just is not going to have that rounded and just absolute melt into your hand feel. Now, as far as the scale materials and how they affect the comfort and ergos, one of the more counterintuitive ones, you would think that burlap micarta would be, really rough and give you a lot of grip, but this is actually a polished micarta. So this is actually probably the least grippy of all of my Drop Bears. And the aluminum it is also slick, but it has almost that kind of chalkboard texture to it is the best way I can describe it. So it does give you a little bit of extra grip. The wood is likewise kind of on the slicker side. I would put it about equal with the burlap micarta one that's polished. But the Drop Bear 2 is by far going to be the grippiest because this is a non-polished canvas micarta. So especially if you have wet hands or something like that, this is going to give you a lot of grip. Now, I have not found any significant hot spots on these. As always, the pocket clip can be depending on how your hand fits it, but I have not run into any kind of hot spot with that on any of my Drop Bears. So, on to the lock and action. The crossbar lock, which Kizer calls the clutch lock, was a core part of the identity of the Drop Bear, and it's still probably what most people associate the Drop Bear with. Now, it does differ from most crossbar locks in the fact that the omega spring tension is actually adjustable on these. So that was one of the big improvements that Kizer made when they started using the crossbar lock. Now, personally, Kizer's clutch lock is probably my favorite iteration of the crossbar lock across any brand, and that includes Benchmade, who had the monopoly on the crossbar lock design for years until their patent expired. Now, the feel of the lock is fairly consistent across all the generations, and really, perhaps more importantly, across different price ranges. I do not notice a significant difference in how the lock operates and feels between the more budget-oriented model and the premium models. Now, the Drop Bear 2, as I mentioned, adds the button-operated liner lock to the family. Now, the great thing about this is it gives you the fidgetiness of a button lock and, the one-handed operation, but it also has the safety and robustness of a liner lock. Because a liner lock or a button-operated liner lock, it's going to be a lot more secure than just your standard plunge lock button lock. So, on to carry and practicality. With the 3-inch blade and correspondingly small overall size, these are all going to carry very, very easily in your pocket. Now, they aren't ultra lightweight, although I will say the Drop Bear 2 is a little bit lighter weight compared to its brethren. They aren't ultralight, but they're not going to weigh your pocket down by any stretch of the imagination either. Now, the models with the nested liners, as I mentioned, will come in a little bit lighter. So even the wood scale Drop Bear will come in a little bit lighter than its older cousins. Now, probably my favorite thing, though, is all of the Drop Bears come from the factory with a deep pocket or deep carry pocket clip. Now, how far it goes up on the scales will vary a little bit. Some will be more towards, you can see, this one, it makes it a little bit closer to the top of the knife up here. This one leaves a little bit more, but we're talking fractions of an inch. It's not going to make a huge difference there. But these are all going to carry great in the pocket and be very, very carryable. Now, build quality. Probably the biggest win on build quality with these. I have bought 4 of these now, and every single one came drop shut with absolutely no blade play. And I cannot say that for any other knife that I own, including ones that I have multiples of. They also came with the blade basically perfectly centered with each and every one of these. Now, I don't know if that's thanks to the design, quality control on these, or maybe I've just gotten lucky, but that has really, really impressed me. And everything lines up on them like they should. Even with the exposed liners, these don't feel like cheap or poorly done. Everything lines up like it should. Same with the Drop Bear 2. Everything lines up like it should. There's really nothing to dislike here as far as the build quality. And they all came reasonably sharp. I think my Spydercos still have them beat as far as sharpness from the factory, but the Drop Bears were definitely sharp enough to use right out of the box. I think the least sharp one was probably the S90V, which I can't blame them for that because S90V is kind of a bear to sharpen, which I'm actually going to be using it in one of my sharpening videos coming up. So if you are into sharpening, make sure to keep an eye out for those, but I think I'm going to use the S90V Drop Bear in that as a demonstration. So all of that said, what are the pros and cons of the Drop Bear for me? So the pros, the awesome crossbar lock, which is my favorite so far of all the crossbar locks that I've owned, or the clutch lock as Kizer calls it. Lots of steel options and lots of scale options. They've also made thoughtful, sensible improvements with new models, and they've listened to their customers. Universally comfortable ergos, like I mentioned, not melt into your hand, but they're going to be comfortable for most people. The fact that they have both budget and premium options available, so there's something out there for everyone. And last but not least, and you'll hear me say this with a lot of the knives that I own, the sub 3-inch blades are legal across most of the United States. But these are not perfect. So what are the cons? So one is the limited aftermarket on these, which is a little surprising considering how popular it is. But connected to that, I think part of the reason for that is there are little changes between each model. So parts interchangeability is going to be kind of a crapshoot on these. And it's probably kind of difficult to make parts that will universally fit all the Drop Bears. Or if you do it, you're going to have specific options for a part for different Drop Bears. So that probably has limited the aftermarket a bit on these. The last con for me is the original 154 cm and aluminum models, at least in my opinion, are a little bit overpriced because they generally fall in that $110 to $120 range, which I think for 154 cm steel is a little bit high. Even with the aluminum scales, I think they should probably fall in that $80 to $100 range. And that may sound like a little bit of a nitpick, but I will say if they fell under $100 for the 154 cm and aluminum ones, I probably would have bought one a little bit sooner. I just didn't want to spend that much on a 154 cm steel blade. So let's look at some comparisons. I'm going to leave one budget and one premium model up here. So let's bring in some premium competitors. And that is the Benchmade Mini Bug Out, the Kershaw Bel Air, the Hogue Ritter Mini RSK, and for the button-operated liner lock, the Spyderco Sage 6. And I wanted to make sure to bring that in just, to have one that also has the button-operated compression lock or button-operated liner lock. Now, I actually, as far as the operation, I think I may prefer the lock on the Drop Bear, even though I do really, really like the Spyderco Sage 6. But those are a great size comparison and just, look as far as some premium options. Now I will bring out some more budget-oriented competitors, and those are the CIVIVI Yonder, the CJRB Maximal, the Vosteed Martin, and the Vosteed Porcupine. So again, these are all similar in the size-wise. You can see there's some variation in the blades, but these are all going to be pretty solid competitors to these in the same size range. And one special one that I'm going to bring out is actually the O-Knife Rubato 2, and you're probably going to see why pretty quickly here. This is actually a knife that was OEM'd for O-Knife by Kizer. And you can see some very, very obvious similarities in the blade shape, or not the blade shape, and the shape of the scales, the handle. So basically, to my understanding, this is kind of a Drop Bear based knife that they just kind of changed the blade shape on and stamped the O-Knife logo on there. So not surprisingly, I also love this one, but this is almost kind of a Drop Bear that's not really a Drop Bear. I thought that was just kind of a cool one to bring in there. So let's bring all of our Drop Bears back. And as far as my conclusion, the Drop Bear isn't a knife that reinvented itself. It's one that quietly got better and better. The early versions still work, which is why they're still around, but the newer ones have implemented some changes from Kizer that really show that they're listening to their customers. So if you don't own one yet, I definitely recommend taking one for a spin. Whether you go for one of the originals or one of the new Drop Bear 2s, I think you're going to be getting a great knife. I'd honestly pick more based on the materials and like the scales or the blade steel that you want, rather than trying to get a Drop Bear 2 or a Drop Bear 1. Just pick out what has the materials that you want, because you're going to be happy no matter what you go with. So if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video.